What is accreditation? Why is it important, and how do you get it when you start with student accommodation? And I wanted to touch on that because it's so important, and it's becoming more important every single year to have your property accredited. Hi, my name is Retha van Rooyen, and I'm the CEO of a company called My Student House. We help new student accommodation landlords to find a property, get the students and do the management and get the accreditation for them. And we have thousands of students across 4 provinces in South Africa, and we've been going for quite a few years on that mission. So what is accreditation? Accreditation you will definitely need if you want to have NSFAS students in your property. Now, who are NSFAS students? NSFAS students are the National Student Financial Aid Scheme students, and that means that they are students that are previously disadvantaged and they can get bursaries from the government. Okay, but with that comes a lot of red tape and politics and whatever else, and part of it is for you to get accredited. Now, why accreditation? Accreditation is there because there are very unscrupulous landlords out there that will just cram students because of the huge demand. They'll just cram them in, and it's not conducive for those students to learn. So as much as they have a place to stay, they will not be successful and they will not pass because of the conditions that they have to stay in. So accreditation is really around standardizing and implementing standards in all the properties where these National Student Financial Aid Scheme are going to stay. And it's really important for them to, obviously they're going to give away all of this money, so they want to make sure that those students actually pass and they make it through to their final years. And what are these standards? I'll have to do a whole separate video about that, but for now you can just Google it's called the National Norms and Standards for Student Accommodation. You can Google it, it's very easy to find, and you can then go through that. It's a regulations that's been published by the government, and as long as you stick within that, you will be able to get your accreditation. Now, accreditation is done in the past, we up until this year actually, we still have accreditation that's being done by the universities. Okay, now even though it's NSFAS students, the university comes out and they have their list of criteria of what you have to comply with to be able to get accredited by the university. You have to pay a fee for them to come out and do that accreditation for you. The good and bad news in a way is that going forward, this year is a pilot. Next year, definitely, I believe all of these institutions will be on the direct payment system, where NSFAS are going to pay the landlords directly, and then you get your accreditation. You apply for your accreditation on the NSFAS portal, and I'll put the link in the comments on this video. I'll put the link for you to that portal on there as well. So you have to go in and log in and apply for that accreditation. Once you have that accreditation, you've gone through the process, which also a very long process, which I'll cover in a different video, is that once you've gone through that, they will give you a grading. They'll say, yes, great, you are accredited, and here is your grading. And the grading determines the income that you're going to get for those students that are staying in your property. And then once you accept that offer, they give you like an offer letter where they say, okay, this is your grading, this is your amounts, and then you accept it. And once you have accepted that, you can then house NSFAS students in your property, and you will get paid directly by NSFAS, which is really great as long as the process runs smoothly. And there's always, at the moment, there's lots of glitches because of the pilot that's being run. But in principle, it's quite a good process, and also especially because landlords are going to get paid directly from by NSFAS, and they're not going to pay the students, and then the students have to pay you. So that is always a good thing. So accreditation, you're going to log your query or your request to be accredited. They're going to send out someone to come and inspect the property. They'll give you an offer, you accept the offer, and then you start to get paid. Okay, sounds simple, but there's lots of little tips and tricks that I will share with you as well on how to prepare for that to make sure that you get the best grading possible. Yeah, so that is that. You can also, if you have private students, meaning if they self-funded, we call them private, but they can also be called self-funded students. It just means that their parents are paying or they're taking out some kind of loan from the bank. Those privately funded students, you do not have to be accredited, but they come obviously with their whole pros and cons as to should you take them or should you not. And there are big companies, the whole model is just based on these private students, privately funded students. And then you also get your bursary, other types of bursaries. You get ESCOM bursaries, you get Department of Water Affairs bursaries, you get CETA bursaries. There's hundreds and thousands of bursaries outside of NSFAS that students qualify for and that they will get. You get Fundi bursaries as well. And very important is that in some instances, those bursaries also want you to have NSFAS accreditation. Why? Because they know then that somebody has gone out to the property, they've inspected the property, and it at least complies to certain standards, and they know that their students are going to be successful and productive in those properties. So as soon as somebody like that applies with you at your property and you're not accredited, you better call that person, the bursary officer that's on the letter. You must call them anyway to confirm their terms, but find out from them, do you need to be accredited with the university, with NSFAS, to make sure that they will actually pay you at the end of the day. And some of them, they don't mind as long as the student is happy, because they can afford quite a bigger amount of rent. They know that the students are going to choose a better place for themselves to stay. So yeah, so that's about accreditation, why you need it, why it's important. And going forward, if you are not accredited, you will not get paid for NSFAS students, and this is across the whole country. In the past, we used to get away with that a little bit here in Cape Town. They had an unaccredited process, but going forward, as soon as everybody's on that NSFAS portal, yeah, we all have to comply, and there will be no payments for non-accredited properties. It's really good to get NSFAS students into your properties. It's a big demand. You will get paid. It just might take a little bit more time, and there's just a certain screening that you also have to go through with NSFAS students that I'll give you some tips and tricks on in a later video. All right, cool. I hope you understand what is accreditation and why it's important. Bye.